Hello, everyone. Hello again to those that were already in this link, and welcome to the new people that have joined. First of all, thank you for joining today. We will start this very important webinar, and I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Raquel Bennett. I'm from Brazil. I'm working with TFG and Brave as the project manager consultants for the Global Ministerial Conference, which is the topic that we are going to talk today. And we are pleased to have this webinar. That's the second webinar that we are having about this topic. We had a first one in Spanish last week. And it's a pleasure to see that we have all of you interested in getting to know a little bit more on how you can engage during this very important moment in the advocacy sector. So that's the name of our webinar. The time is now, the Global Ministerial Conference on Ending Violence Against Children. And today our aim is to give you a presentation on what is this Global Ministerial Conference, what the FG and Brave are doing around it, and how can you take action. So let us start. I'll just quickly ask my colleague, Kaylin, who is here supporting with logistics today, to go to the next page. Thank you, Kaylin. So the introduction, we would like to say that we have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to address the topic of childhood sexual violence. And this opportunity is the first ever Global Ministerial Conference on Ending Violence Against Children. This is a conference, an international conference, that is going to take place in Bogota, Colombia, between November 7th and 8th, so in 1 month from now. This conference is being organized by the UN, and it's going to have representatives from different governments, which is something that I'm going to touch on in a couple of slides. But we want all of you to know that this webinar is for us not only to share what are we doing as an organization, but also to invite all of you on how you can get involved with the actions that we are doing and also with the actions that are being organized by other partners. Next slide, please. So what is the agenda for today? Here we have a list of things that we are going to go through. First, I'm going to introduce the Brave movement. For those of you that doesn't know, we are going to go through what is the objective of the movement and how this connects with the conference. After that, we are going to have a high-level overview of our engagement for this conference, and we are going to go through the engagement areas of Brave and TFG. After that, we are going to have a moment to go through how you can take action and the different ways in which you can get involved. And next, we are going to go through the prepare now. So basically inviting all of you to prepare for this next upcoming month until the conference takes place. Next. First of all, let's introduce the Brave movement. So what is the Brave movement? That's how we define our movement. It is a movement that unites survivors and allies globally and is dedicated to ending childhood sexual violence through elevating survivors' voices and fostering coordinated advocacy. This has everything to do with the conference that is taking place, as you see in a while. Next slide. So what is the scale and the scope of the challenge that we are facing with the topic of child and adolescent violence? Here we have a couple of data that we have collected to show all of you how this is a pressing issue and a very important issue for us to tackle. Sexual violence is one of the largest silent challenges of our time. So you can see here 1 in 4 women who report having experienced sexual violence were before the age of 18. 8% to 24% of men reported having experienced sexual violence before the age of 18. 29 million, that's the number of reported cases of online child sexual abuse material that was found in 2021. And we also have the number that is shocking, which is 7 trillion. That's the global economic impact of violence against children. So that accounts for 8% of global GDP. And it's also important to mention that that is an intersectional issue, and it responds to other trends and other other areas, let's say social areas such as increased migration, rising conflicts, new technologies, race, ethnicity, gender. So that's a very important issue for us to take care and to take action. And this makes as well our conference even more important in this context. Next one. Who is part of the Brave movement? So we have here examples of campaigns and also of what is the movement composed of. Part of it is composed by members, the national platforms, partners and allies, but we also have the SAGE Survivor Advisory Council, and we have the Movement Action Team, which is also part of the Brave and TFG team. Next one. With this context in mind, now I'm going to present to all of you the Global Ministerial high-level overview. Next. So as I've told all of you, that's a conference that is going to take place in Bogota, Colombia in November. And we have as co-hosts of this conference, the government of Colombia, the government of Sweden. We have as well World Health Organization, UNICEF, the UN Secretary General Special Representative on Ending Violence Against Women, and we have Brave Movement. Brave Movement is acting as one of the organizations that has the role of including survivors. And you're going to understand a bit more when we talk about our engagement to the conference, how we are doing that in practice. In terms of participants, we are going to have ministerial delegations from all the member states. We have a maximum of 4 representatives, and the aim is to ensure that all of these delegations are there to make decisions and to discuss these very important topics, not only on the violence part, but also having an interministerial approach, taking into account the social development, health, justice, gender, and other topics. And also we are going to have non-state actors, which is Brave as always is one of the non-state actors, and allies. So we are going to have survivors, we are going to have NGOs and different other organizations. Next one. So why is the ministerial a big deal? Here we have a couple of reasons on why this conference is so important. It is an opportunity to do 4 things that we have listed here. One of them is an opportunity to uplift the grassroots and community leaders. Second, it is also an opportunity to give more, to highlight a bit more interagency and intergovernmental coordination. Third, it's also an opportunity to secure funding and commitments from governments. And fourth, it's an opportunity to center survivors in policymaking. So as I said, this is the first time that we are having an event of this sort on this topic. So we are looking forward to have this opportunity to highlight all of these areas. Next one. Okay, now we are going to go through the different engagement areas that we are working on as an organization. So next one. We say that we have 4 different pillars of our engagement for the ministerial. As I've mentioned, we are one of the survivor partners for the ministerial, and we are also included in the different organizational bodies. This includes the Friends of the Conference, the Strategy and Advocacy Group, and the monthly town hall meetings. And including our general engagements, we also have these 4 pillars. They are policy and advocacy, survivor engagement, strategic communications, and events coordination. And I'm going to go through each one of them during the presentation. Next. Policy and advocacy. Next one. The first part on national, on policy and advocacy, we call national country advocacy. And this part of our engagement has everything to do with the Brave movement. Basically, TFG and Brave are mobilizing advocacy efforts to influence what is taking place in the national context as a preparation to the Global Ministerial Conference that is taking place in November. So some of the countries have nowadays what we call national preparation sessions, and we are trying to influence those. But even to those that doesn't have a national preparation session, We are trying to do together with the Brave platforms, national platforms, to do advocacy efforts to call for action of the government. We have right now 12 priority countries in different areas of the globe. And we have also defined 5 key policy positions and calls to action for the member states. I have here the 5 calls to action, which are national level commitments, survivor engagement and consultations, data-informed efforts, cross-ministerial approach, and global collaboration. But that's something that we invite all of you to take a look at the complete document for our policy position. We have this in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. And I would just like to ask Kaylin to quickly share her screen to show what we have on the website, just so all of you can know what you can find there. Kaylin, if you can please share the the 5 key policy priorities. Thank you so much. So that's the document in English. And here you have the detailed documents, not only justifying with data why this is such an important matter, but here we also have the different calls to action. We have a text and a boilerplate language for each one of them. So here you can see a bit more how you can ask your states and governments to engage and how you can use each one of these calls to call for your government to also take action, make commitments, include survivors, collaborate globally, and all of these other calls that we have here. Thank you, Kaylin. You can go back to the slide. I think you stopped to share your screen. Good. Thank you so much. One other call that we have on our website, it's the call to action for governments and technology companies to create a safe digital world for children. So this is another call to action that we have focused solely on safe digital violence, on digital violence, sorry. These are the calls that we have for governments on this specific issue and can also be found on our website. Next one. Okay, so that's the second pillar of our engagement, which is survivor engagement. Next. We are trying to include survivors in different ways for this conference. And one of them was preparing a guidance note together with the organizers of the conference. This document was produced by Brave, and it's also on the conference page for the conference. And one more part that we did concerning survivor engagement, it's called the Global Survivor Council. And I'll just quickly ask to go to the next page. Okay, so what is the Global Survivor Council? This council was selected by Brave and Together for Girls. It is composed of survivors from all over the globe. They represent different networks of survivors. And they have been participating for the past months and until November. They are going to participate in activities related to the conference. From these survivors, we are going to have 7 that are going to be in person in Colombia, and Together for Girls is supporting their travel. And we are including them either as speakers, moderators, or as participants of different events that are going to take place in Bogota and even before Bogota. It's very important to mention that we also have 3 people that are participating anonymously. They are not listed here, of course, but they have been selected to provide inputs in an anonymous basis. So we are securing their anonymity so they can be a part of it. Next one. Great. Strategic communications. That's our third pillar, and I'm going to explain a bit more how we are doing. Next one. The main way in which we are focusing our communications efforts, it's called the Break the Record campaign. This is going to be a big campaign that is going to be launched by the end of October. And the focus of this campaign is a data that has been recently launched. And these data says that for the very first time, we now have a record of the prevalence of boys and girls who have experienced some form of sexual violence around the world. The aim is to use this data of this record to raise awareness, not only during the conference, but in the context of the conference, not only to the government representatives that are in Bogota. So we are going to have an activation activity to bring awareness to this data in person, but we are also going to have a book and an event about this very important record and how we can take action against it. So here you have some of the pictures of what we plan to be the book. And the plan is for us to raise awareness for the delegates and also to discuss what can be done to prevent, to heal, and to give justice to the survivors. Next one. Events coordination, that's the fourth and last pillar of our engagement. And next slide, please. So our fourth pillar of engagement is our involvement in events. And as part of this pillar, TFG and Brave are working with different partners as a co-host or participant in different side and satellite events that are happening in the context of the Global Ministerial Conference. It's important to say that in this sort of conferences, we usually have the official program, which is inside the conference itself, that is going to have the government officials. But we also have satellite events, side events, and other activities taking place, not only in Bogota, but sometimes online. Some of these events, we are acting as co-host, as I said, and here you can see some of them. These are not all of them, since our engagement is still happening. We are getting involved with more events as time goes by. And we invite all of you to stay tuned in our newsletter and in our action update emails to know more about the events. But I would like to highlight these three that are some of those that we are working on right now. The first one is called Ending Violence is Education's Business Too. This is a partner that we have with Safe to Learn. And we are also including survivors from the Global Survivor Council in this event. The second one is Safe Digital Futures for Children. That's a partnership that we have with We Protect Alliance and Safe Online. On this one, we are also doing some advocacy, and we also have Brave speakers and survivor speakers. And on the third one, we have, it's a partnership with 2-0, and it's called Childhood Sexual Violence. This is going to be a side event that is going to take place during one of the days of the conference. And it's something that we are developing and still seeing how we can include survivors. Next one. Take action. So now it's the time where you can get to know how you can get involved. Next slide. So here we have listed a couple of ways in which you can take action and influence the change. These are just 4 examples. That's something that I would like to highlight. And some of these ways are already being done by some of the Brave Movement representatives. One of them is to attend events. So we invite all of you to identify the strategic events taking place during the moment, this moment, and engage. We are going to show all of you how to identify and how to look for satellite events to participate. Even if you are not in Colombia, as I said, some of the events are online. So we are going to show you in a while how to see in the website events that can be interesting for you. The second action that you can take is to sign on letters or to create petitions. That's a way for you to unite with different networks and activists in your region to advocate for change. And we have different Brave communities doing something similar. That's also something that we are going to show to you in a couple of slides. The third one is to coordinate national advocacy efforts. I would like to mention that signing a letter or creating petitions is also coordinating national advocacy efforts. But here we also have this point as a broader one. So you can use our key policy positions and calls to action that I've showed before to have inspiration on how you can call for these 5 calls and how you can try to add those to your calls to the government, or even to calls to other allies or other commitment makers in your country or region. And the fourth one would be to engage on social media. So it's always good to remember that even if you can't do in-person influence, social media is a big ally for you to ask for your government or for institutions and allies in your region to take action and also to make commitments. Since we are having such an important and once-in-a-generation opportunity to have this topic covered, we invite all of you to also tag your government either on Twitter or other social media channels and also ask for change. Next one. So how can you attend satellite events? First of all, what is a satellite event? It's an event that is focused on a specific subtopics, and it takes place at the context of the conference. So not necessarily inside the conference, but sometimes even before, some days before, you will be able to find some satellite events. That's something that you can find online. The official organization of the conference has a website, and I'd like to ask Kaylin to quickly show to all of you the website to see where you can find. Thank you, Kaylin. Okay, so that's the official website for the conference. If you go to the program part of the menu, you'll be able to find the official program and the satellite events part. This one is the satellite events. And here you have the list with the dates, the times, the sign-up forms, and the description of each one of the satellite events taking place. As you can see, some of them take place before the conference. So the conference officially starts at the 7th. I would say the most satellite events take place either on the 5th or the 6th, but we also have events taking place on the 31st of October, as you can see, the third one, and it's an online event. We invite all of you to take a look at that and to find those that you see fit to what you are doing. It's also relevant to mention that the second event that we have on this list, it's being done by our Latin America platform, Valientes. That's Brave Latin America, and they are organizing one of the Spanish-speaking events in this conference. So we invite all of you to either attend if you are a Spanish speaker or to take a look and also get some inspiration on what is being done at this context. You can go back to the slide, Kaylin. Great. So the main call to action is for all of you to visit the website and explore this part of the events. Next one. Here we have some examples on how you can do a sign-on letter. And as I said, that's a way of doing national advocacy, and it's something that we can have brave examples to show to all of you. The first initiative that we've seen of this sort was in the US. So the Biden administration has received a letter, and it was signed not only by Brave, but also by a coalition of other NGOs. They sent this letter asking for the President Biden to take this topic as one of the important ones as we have the conference going on. And as a feedback, we've known that the letter was well received, and it has sparked significant internal discussions at the State Department, not only about the ministerium, but mostly about the priorities of the civil society in this upcoming conference. Brave Canada also as an inspiration from this US action, they have also prepared letters that were sent to the Trudeau administration to different ministries, and they are aiming to do mostly the same impact as the US. So the invitation here is for you to also feel inspired by these examples. And as we already said, you can use some of the calls to action that we have in our policy position document that is in the website. Next one. What is next? So how can you prepare for the conference now? Next one. Here we have 4 ways for you to be connected and on what we ask from all of you. Mostly we ask you to stay tuned and to keep seeing the action updates and monthly newsletters. Brave is always launching newsletters that have some updates on what is going on the ministerial and how we are taking action. So we invite all of you to keep seeing that. And if you are not a member, we invite you to not only become a member, but also to sign up for the newsletter. We are going to share as well the link for you to sign up for the newsletter. second one is the Brave Take Action page. You can visit the page, the Brave Movement page, and you can go to the tab called Take Action. There you can see all of the advocacy opportunities that we have. Also, you can follow Be Brave Global on all social media platforms to get live updates and to see what the advocates around the globe are saying about the conference and our engagements. And if you feel really inspired by everything that we did and you want to take action, we ask you to share your advocacy efforts with us. And if you get involved, if you do any events, any online activities, we ask you to send your updates to this address that you see here. Next one. Well, we are very happy to receive all of you for this webinar and to know about your interest in the topic. And one more time, we're here to invite all of you to take action during these very important moments. We will keep posting on our social media and on our main channels about our engagement and the Brave community actions. But as I said, feel free to share your efforts with us. Thank you so much for joining and stay tuned.